advantage of your traps. But if you catch me at it, the outcome won't be pretty. So if I don't want to take a chance on doing it myself, I can always hire Philip." Philip Boudreau was by no means the only man who ever cut traps in Petit de Gras, but he was the dominant figure in that line of work. He would also take credit for things he hadn't done just to bolster his reputation as a crafty rascal operating by stealth and beyond the reach of the law. A fisheries officer who confronted him had the tires of his car slashed. When he bought new tires, those were slashed too. Philip? Try to prove it. If you confronted him, he'd just smile. Philip could make your life a misery. But if he was your friend and thought you needed something, he would provide it, whether or not he owned it. So you had to be careful about idly voicing your desires. And then, from time to time, he would disappear, for days or weeks or months. But he always cropped up again. There had been attempts to kill him, conspiracies even, but on June 1st, 2013, he was said to have been drowned, and not by thugs or druggies, but by highly respected local fishermen. A lot of people thought the very idea was ridiculous. Philip was wily and resilient, and he swam like a seal. Trying to drown him would be like trying to drown a football. No doubt he was hiding out somewhere. But he was never seen again. Chapter 1. Her Majesty's Story. June 1st, 2013 was a brilliant sunny morning on the south coast of Ile Madame, just off the southeastern coast of Cape Breton Island. Lobster boats were slipping through the calm water all around the rocky shore off Petit de Gras and Arichat, diesel engines muttering as fishermen hauled up traps, removed lobsters, rebaited and reset the traps. The 36-foot twin Maggies, skippered by Dwayne Sampson, was working in a dimple on the coast known as L'Anse aux Maquereaux, Mackerel Cove. The fishing license had been given to Dwayne's wife, Carla, by her father, James Landry, when he turned 60. She also owned the boat. James, now 65, was working that morning as an employee, a deckhand. The second deckhand was Craig Landry, 40, a third cousin to James. At about 7 a.m., Craig spotted a 14-foot speedboat, Midnight Slider, moving among their traps. The crew knew it well. It belonged to Philip Boudreau, who had bedeviled and taunted the twin Maggies for years. Midnight Slider's speed made it easy for Philip to elude slow, heavy fishing boats like the twin Maggies. On that fateful June morning, however, shots were fired and Midnight Slider stalled. The two boats collided. Shortly afterwards, another fisherman found Midnight Slider's battered hull floating awash. Its outboard motor was gone. A gas can was floating nearby. Philip Boudreau had vanished. Meanwhile, the twin Maggies had continued to tend her traps, unloading her lobsters at the end of the morning at the Premium Seafoods Wharf in Arichat. The next day, the three crew members were questioned closely by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. 5 days later, on June 6, the RCMP charged Craig Landry with second-degree murder. The next day, they arrested Dwayne Sampson and James Landry and charged them with murder as well. Carla Sampson was charged as accessory after the fact. The twin Maggies was impounded. It was now an alleged murder weapon. The accused were interrogated separately and intensively. Dwayne and Craig said nothing, but after 15 continuous hours of questioning, James made a statement. He said that when the twin Maggies found Philip Boudreau cutting their traps that morning, he got Craig to bring him his rifle. Then he fired 4 shots. He thought one of the shots might have wounded Philip and one might have stopped his speedboat by disabling its motor. James then seized the wheel of the fishing boat from Dwayne and rammed Midnight Slider. He was so mad he was seeing black. He swung around and rammed the smaller boat again, capsizing it. He wanted to destroy it. After that, they didn't see Philip anymore, and they went on hauling their traps. It was a powerful story. But 3 weeks later, on June 26, Craig Landry told the Mounties a very different story and later directed a videotaped reenactment out on the water. On July 4th, he was released on $50,000 bail, subject to stringent conditions about where he could live and who he could see. Carla Sampson was also released on $25,000 bail.